Level 1. The bill that makes no sense. The unemployment payment is $2,078 a month. The health insurance bill is $2,150. You read both numbers twice, then a third time because losing your job has apparently made basic arithmetic personal. Before the mortgage, before groceries, before electricity, before spending $1 on anything else, you are already $72 short. The letter says you can keep your family's health insurance through Cobra. Keep is generous. Coverage for you, your wife Jennifer, and your 2 children will cost $2,150 every month. Your unemployment benefit is $480 a week, roughly $2,078 a month, for a maximum of 26 weeks. You place the 2 papers side by side on the kitchen table. One says help, the other says not enough. 4 days earlier, you still had a job. 7 years at the same company. Then it took 19 minutes to end. The severance agreement offered 8 weeks of pay, plus your unused vacation days. Total, $19,600. The HR manager explained that the company was eliminating the position. Not you, the position. As though the 2 of you had simply decided to start seeing other people. You packed your desk while she finished her paperwork without looking up. On the drive home, you did not call Jennifer. You waited until dinner. She noticed you were home early and asked what happened. You told her. She put down her fork and stayed quiet for about 10 seconds. Then she asked, "The mortgage is still due next month, right?" It was not comforting. It was accurate. And accuracy hurts more when the money has stopped coming in. Level 2, 112 applications. For the next 10 weeks, finding a job becomes your full-time job. You apply to 112 positions on LinkedIn. 89 companies send automated replies. Only 4 applications become real interviews. You create a folder on your laptop called Active Applications. By week 4, almost everything inside it is a rejection. One company takes you through 3 rounds. By the final interview, you are already imagining the commute. You check traffic. You look up parking. You calculate what time you will need to leave the house. You rebuild a presentation on Saturday morning because they mention, almost casually, that you may be asked to walk through a strategy. They never ask. 2 days later, a group email arrives. They have selected someone more closely aligned with the role. You read the sentence 3 times, searching for the part where the last 2 weeks meant something. There is none. A former direct report named Marcus calls you privately. He tells you what happened to your old job. The company split it into 2 positions. 2 younger employees now share the work. Each earns about 60% of what you made. You do not tell Jennifer. After the 3rd rejection, you stop mentioning interviews at dinner. After the 6th, she stops asking. The silence does not arrive all at once. It grows in small, reasonable pieces. You cancel Cobra after the 2nd payment. The family moves to a cheaper plan with a deductible large enough to feel theoretical. You sell your car and keep Jennifer's minivan. The buyer hands you $8,400 in the driveway. You watch him drive away in the car you used to park outside the office every morning. The next day, Jennifer drops you at an interview before taking the children to school. You arrive 38 minutes early because being unemployed has made lateness feel immoral. You do not get that job either. A few days later, your 10-year-old daughter asks during dinner, "Dad, do you not have a job now?" You freeze for 2 seconds. Then you smile. "Dad's just taking a little break." 30 seconds later, she asks for the ketchup. You pass it to her. She has already moved on. You have not. Level 3. The 3 a.m. math. 5 months after the layoff, your savings have fallen from $47,000 to $19,000. You develop a routine. You wake up at 3 a.m. and calculate how many months remain. Mortgage, insurance, food, utilities, minimum payments. During the day, numbers are information. At 3 a.m., they start making promises. You do the math in your head because opening the budgeting app feels worse. The numbers inside the app do not change when you stare at them. They just become more official. One night, the mortgage payment clears and leaves $3,870 in checking. 2 days later, the credit card is due. You transfer $6,000 out of the children's college account. You tell yourself it is temporary. You will put it back after the next interview. Then after the next one. Then after something changes. you do not tell Jennifer. That is the real withdrawal. Not the money, the decision to carry it alone. A week later, Jennifer wakes up and finds your side of the bed empty. She walks into the living room. You are sitting in front of your laptop. The screen is black. You are not applying for jobs. You are not checking the bank account. You are just sitting there. She brings you a blanket, puts it around your shoulders, and sits beside you. For 20 minutes, neither of you speaks. Then you tell her about Marcus, the interviews, the college money, all of it. She does not yell. That would have been easier. She closes her eyes and asks, "How long were you planning to let me live inside a problem I didn't know we had?" You do not have an answer. That night, you make one rule together. No hidden numbers. Not the savings, not the bills, not the bad news. The rule does not fix the money, but it is the first thing you have built since the layoff. Level 4. The call you almost reject. By month 6, you are nearly done applying to large companies. You start considering a part-time cashier job at a supermarket. It pays far less than your old salary. It also covers almost half the mortgage, which is suddenly the comparison that matters. Then your phone rings. It is Naomi, a former coworker you have not spoken to in 3 years. She now works as an independent marketing consultant. One of her clients needs help fixing a stalled online sales funnel. 3 weeks of work. The fee is $3,200. Your first instinct is to turn it down. No title, no benefits, no company badge, just one client, one problem, and 3 weeks. It feels smaller than your old career. That is why it scares you. Taking the project would mean admitting that the next version of your life might not come with an employer's logo in the corner. This time, before deciding, you tell Jennifer everything. The opportunity, the payment, the risk, and the part you are embarrassed to admit. You are afraid that accepting freelance work means accepting that nobody will hire you again. Jennifer listens. Then she says, "Take it. See what happens." It is not a speech. It is barely advice. But it is the first decision in months that you do not make alone. You call Naomi back. The job is still available. You say yes before your pride can schedule another meeting. Level 5. The first client. The client sells home fitness equipment online. Traffic is not the problem. People are visiting the site, they just are not buying. You spend 4 days inside the numbers. Most customers leave between the product page and checkout. The mobile page loads slowly. Shipping costs appear too late. The abandoned cart emails sound like legal notices written by someone angry about a treadmill. You rebuild the landing page around one clear offer. You move shipping information above the checkout button. You cut the email sequence from 7 messages to 3. The first answers questions. The second shows real customer results. The third offers a deadline without pretending the world ends at midnight. Within 2 months, conversion rises by 34%. The client introduces you to a second business owner, then a third. You register a small marketing consultancy from the spare bedroom. The desk is a folding table. Your first business phone is still your personal number, so Jennifer hears you answer client calls while unloading the dishwasher. During the first 3 months, you complete 5 projects. Total revenue, $18,400. The money is real, but it does not arrive like a salary. 1 week, the account looks healthy. The next, 3 invoices are late, and the tax estimate is sitting unopened beside the printer. Then one client delays a $12,000 payment for 47 days. You have already promised a freelance designer she will be paid on Friday. For 2 nights, you consider hiding the problem from Jennifer until you solve it. The old instinct is still there. It just wears a business shirt now. Then you remember the black laptop screen. You tell her before breakfast. Together, you move money from the emergency account and pay the designer on time. Then you rewrite every future contract. 50% upfront. Payment dates in writing. Late fees that are not decorative. The client eventually pays. The lesson stays. Naomi begins helping on larger projects as a paid contractor. She is better at client relationships. You are better at diagnosing where growth systems break. When the workload becomes too large, she joins full-time as head of client strategy. 18 months later, after helping rebuild half the client roster, she becomes an equity partner. The transition is written into an agreement. Roles, ownership, decision rights, everything in writing now. But growth creates a new version of your old problem. You keep saying yes. Yes to rushed launches. Yes to weekend revisions. Yes to clients who treat urgency like a personality. You tell yourself you are protecting the company. Naomi tells you what you are actually doing. You're protecting the revenue by spending the team. She says it after an employee cries in the restroom during a Sunday product launch that should never have been scheduled. The sentence stays with you. You apologize to the team. You refund part of the client's fee. Then you create rules you should have created earlier. No weekend launches without an actual emergency. No campaign begins without approved materials. No client gets unlimited access because they wrote urgent in capital letters. You lose one account immediately. You also stop losing employees. The company moves from isolated strategy projects to 12-month retainers tied to testing, reporting, and conversion targets. That change stabilizes the business. By the end of the second year, revenue reaches $810,000. You finally replace the folding table. You keep it in storage anyway, not for inspiration, for evidence. Level 6. The building you used to work in. By year 4, the team has grown to 14 people. You manage annual marketing budgets for 2 national retail brands. Revenue passes $2.6 million. The company now supports 14 salaries, including yours. Then, a national client cancels its contract with 30 days' notice after replacing its chief marketing officer. The account represents 28% of your revenue. The email arrives at 7:14 on a Monday morning. For several minutes, you sit alone in your office and feel the old instinct return. Hide the number. Solve it first. Tell everyone after the danger has passed. 4 years earlier, that instinct emptied your house one quiet conversation at a time. This time, you tell Naomi, your finance lead, and Jennifer on the same day. The leadership team meets that afternoon. You freeze hiring. You cut your own distribution for 3 months. You delay the office renovation. You divide the remaining work across several smaller accounts instead of chasing one replacement whale. No one misses a paycheck. But the crisis exposes another mistake. One client should never have been allowed to become 28% of the business. You create a concentration rule. No single account may represent more than 15% of annual revenue. Growth, it turns out, is not only about learning what to pursue, it is also about deciding what can no longer be allowed to happen. 3 months later, the company is stable again. One afternoon, you drive past your old office building. The Starbucks downstairs is still there. You go inside for coffee. While waiting, you notice Debbie, the HR manager who handled your layoff. She looks at you for a moment, then she asks, "Did we work together?" You tell her the company name and the year. She apologizes. There were a lot of restructurings back then. That is all she remembers. For years, you imagined this meeting differently. You thought she would recognize you. You thought your success would change the expression on her face. Maybe she would ask what happened after the layoff. Maybe you would tell her. Maybe she would understand what those 19 minutes had done. Instead, your worst professional day was one meeting on her calendar. You take your coffee and leave. You no longer need her to remember it. Level 7. The other side of the desk. That evening, your daughter is 14. At dinner, she mentions a school trip that requires an extra payment. You ask how much. She tells you. "No problem," you say. "I'll send it." There is no pause. No mental calculation. Jennifer looks at you and smiles. She says nothing. She does not need to. That same year, the company enters a restructuring. Automation has reduced part of the reporting workload. Several clients now want integrated teams instead of separate account roles. 2 positions have to be eliminated. For the first time, you are sitting on the other side of the desk. You spend 6 weeks looking for another answer. You review the budget. You try moving responsibilities. You delay hiring elsewhere. You cut your own compensation again. But eventually, there is no honest alternative. You cannot save 2 roles by pretending the work still exists. So you prepare the meetings. No vague calendar invitation 5 minutes before the conversation. No security guard waiting near the elevator. No language about eliminating the position, as though a job and the person doing it have never met. You tell each employee 6 weeks in advance. You give them 16 weeks of severance. You contact 3 partner companies that are still hiring. You write recommendation letters yourself, not templates, real letters. You name the campaigns they saved, the clients who trusted them, the work another employer would be lucky to receive. One employee is angry. He says the severance does not change what is happening. You tell him he is right. It does not. You do not ask him to understand the business decision. You do not ask him to make you feel like a good person for handling it carefully. You let him be angry. Because kindness is not the same as innocence. Then your finance manager sends one final invoice for approval. 2 additional months of group health insurance. Coverage for 2 families. You open the document. For a moment, you see another kitchen table. 2 sheets of paper. $2,078 coming in. $2,150 going out. One saying help, the other saying not enough. The invoice is waiting for your signature. You approve it before lunch. 4 years earlier, that kind of bill sat on your table and made the future feel smaller. This time, it leaves your desk paid.